Hi guys, we are back with another Chasing the Crawfords video. And today we're going to be talking about Carnival Mardi Gras. So as always in our reviews, we're going to be hitting on these points: the ship, the food, the staff slash service, and entertainment. All right, so the first point, the ship. So we've already been on Mardi Gras before, so we kind of already knew where everything was. So it wasn't a shock to us. But the ship is easy to navigate. It's not like the older, smaller ships where you have to go to deck 5 and go across and then come down and then go back around to Timbuktu to get to the dining room. So, what do you think?
Yeah, the zones of it changes it. It's been a couple of times where we've been on a cruise and we leave out not quite on time. And I'm like, oh, we can take this shortcut. And that doesn't end up being a shortcut because you can't go through this door or you can't come in that way. So you got to go back up, back around. But with the way that Mardi Gras is set up with the zones now, you kind of know where each section is. And with it being such a big ship, over 6,500 people can be on there at a time with the zones set up the way they are. It's nice and flowy, so you don't have to worry about getting too crowded. If you too many people there, you can go to another zone. It's really great.
So the next point that we're going to hit on is the food. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't super wowed with the specialty dining, I guess you could call it. We went to Chibang and our food was cold, and it was also cold on Celebration. We went to Cucina. It wasn't super wowing. Emeralds is always a good time. Okay. Those red beans and rice, amazing every single time. This was the first time I went to Serenity Deck and they had the Fresh Creation salad bar there. And I absolutely loved it. I ate it more than once while we were on the cruise. Also, I ate a lot of blue iguana.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I brought Doritos to go with my burrito bowl, and it was amazing.
Yeah, and also the food truck thing.
Yeah.
Um, what is it? Drink
Time
time
fries.
fries, something steam. Which I put the pictures in there, but they had some great stuff.
Mhm.
Chibang had some stuff that was right and some stuff that wasn't. So like the spring rolls and all those things were still good, but some of it did come out cold, which was kind of weird. But you can't. It's a hit or miss when you're on a big cruise like that. Oh, that many people, you just never know and stuff.
Now, the food in the main dining room wasn't bad. And since Carnival has kind of done an overall overhaul with their menu and brought in Emerald Lagasse to kind of help spruce up the menu in the main dining room, I feel like the food has gotten a lot better. So I don't have really any complaints about the food in the main dining room.
Yeah, the main dining room were hits and emeralds.
Mhm.
Always one of my favorites. So make sure you check that out if you're on there.
Okay, so another one of the restaurants that we want to talk about is Shaq's Big Chicken. Now, this place is pretty consistent across the board. Like the chicken sandwiches are good, the chicken strips are good. They do have breakfast there. I don't think I ate one of the biscuits, but they do serve chicken strips for breakfast. So I got the chicken strips and then I went over to get my sauce and they didn't have any sauce. And I was like, so I asked the person, they were like, "Oh, for breakfast we don't have sauce."
Yeah, so that's something to think about. If you, I mean, have chicken strips and not having the sauce, it just doesn't make sense to us. But in the morning time, the sauce bar is not to get set up at all. So once you go, just know you'll be eating plain chicken strips, which they're good.
Mhm.
But if you like us, you like sauce with your chicken strips. Now the biscuits did have like that honey glaze. You can get
Mhm. Well, they dip the chicken
chicken in
in
the
the honey
honey
glaze
glaze.
and then put it on the
So those
biscuit.
are pretty good. And a big Aristotle, if you go for lunch, is one that most people like. Also, we want to talk about guys Pig and Anchor, the barbecue joint for lunch. We didn't go at dinner time,
Mm-mm.
but lunch, man, it's a buffet style. I always get the brisket, the greens, The mac and cheese, even though it ain't the best mac and cheese, it is serviceable. And also the chicken. Those are my favorite. And they are some of the best greens on the high seas. And that brisket is really, really good. What do you think about it?
I ate emeralds.
She ate animals.
All right, so next we're going to hit on the staff. Now, our room steward, while I do not remember his name, he was pretty good. I mean, he made sure that we had constantly had ice in the room. He was just checking to make sure that we needed anything. The bar staff was pretty good.
Yeah.
The only issue that we had was in Cucina. So we checked in on the app, and in the app it said 5 to 10 minutes. It was about 45 minutes before we were sat. And then it was probably over an hour before we got our food. And I don't know what was going on, but they were extremely slow with the service at Cucina. And there were two other couples sitting beside us. And the manager, I guess, of Cucina had told our waiter to take one of the tables wine. So he asked both of the tables, did they want wine? So one table said no, the other table said yes. Well, all of us had, well, actually, we had been there longer than the other two tables, but all of us had been there around the same amount of time. So we're like, why you didn't give us no wine?
Yeah.
So we asked the manager, we're like, he gave them wine, he didn't give us any wine. We've been sitting here longer than anybody. So he was like, I didn't tell him to give the second table wine. I only told him to give the first table wine because I know them. They've been cruising with me for 10 years. And so he asked the guy, he asked the guy in front of us, did you give these tables wine? And he was like, oh, no, I didn't. It's on their table.
It's on that table.
So then he was like, well, I only told you to give this one person wine. You offered both of them wine and you did it in front of them. He was like, you need to give them whatever drinks they want. And y'all, we're not those people who are like, oh, I want something free. Like, we paid for all of our drinks on this cruise, but it was the fact that we had been there longer than anybody else. And he offered them wine, and he did it right in front of us. If you have been in any of the Carnival restaurants, you know you're basically sitting in other people's laps because they have the table so close together. So, like, we clearly heard you offer these people wine or drinks or whatever it was that they wanted, and you didn't offer us anything. So that was the only thing that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, because that's a great tip. Pick a good time, off time to go to the specialty restaurants because they are using different waiters and everything. So I believe because that was a busy time, like everybody was waiting. So that's what we thought they were getting the wine because we had been there almost an hour waiting on our stuff. So that's why we kind of at first was like, that's not cool, because we were waiting so long, we almost left because we got tired of waiting. Now, once the food got out there, it was fine, but I felt like maybe we picked the busiest time, which is what we're not used to. Because usually we go a little earlier or a little later because of the shows we want to see. So we're never there at the busy point. So that may be a normal thing, but it kind of rubbed us the wrong way. So that's something to think about when you're doing the specialty diners. Pick a time that's not prime time, which I would think 7 to 9 is prime time, or at least 7 to 8. So I would try to go a little early, maybe 6, or a little later after 8 and stuff.
Yes. And going back to the check in process. So it said 5 to 10 minutes in the app. We were out there standing for 45 minutes. So I finally went up to the lady and I'm like, hey, it said 5 to 10 minutes. We've been out here for 30 minutes at that point. And I'm like, the thing hasn't gone off, whatever. So she was like, did you check in? Yeah. And that's how it told me 5 to 10 minutes. So this other lady comes out. She asked me what's going on. She said, I'm going to go check and find out what's going on. She left and she never came back. So then when she finally came back, she goes, oh, y'all are still out here? I said, yeah, because you never came back and told us anything. And she was like, oh, I don't know what happened. Well, that's on You said you were going to check. So then she left and she sent somebody else out there. She sent a guy out there, and then he was finally like, okay, I'm just going to get y'all seated. So I don't know what they had going on at Cucina that night. Everybody was just off their game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a C day. So I don't know if that's why it was just kind of like packed and they were overwhelmed. But at the end of the day, using your words and letting people know what's going on goes a long way. Like you could have came out there and said, hey guys, we're running behind, blah, blah, blah. Because somebody came out there and told us to go sit down and don't be standing up in front of the restaurant. But nobody ever came out and communicated why we were sitting out there for so long.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't have that problem with anywhere else.
Mm-mm.
Emerald's was great. Shebang was just fine. And the main dining room, it was in and out for breakfast and for dinner. So I don't know. It was just kind of weird. It may be in the time, and it may have been because it was a C day. But that's something to keep in mind on those busy days.
Oh, and we did finally get the sushi this time because we had some onboard credit that was left over and we needed to use it up. So we did get the sushi and it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Over at Bonsai.
So the next topic that we're going to hit on is the entertainment. Now, this time we actually went to some shows because, normally we don't go to shows like that. So we went to, it was called Celestial Strings the last time that we went on Mardi Gras. They've changed the name of it, but the show is exactly the same. Like they perform the same songs, everything. The show is the exact same, but it was still good.
Yeah, it's down in Center Stage is where we always see it, and it's probably my favorite show on any cruise. I mean, of the shows that we've gone to, at least, because we don't do a lot of shows.
No.
But that one, if we're on there, we definitely make sure we go to see that show. What was the other one we went to?
I think it was called Rock Revolution.
Rock Revolution.
Mm-hmm. So they did like all the kind of like 70s hippie type songs and stuff like that, and it was a pretty good show.
Yeah, I remember a lot of those old songs, so it was like, oh, I hadn't heard that in a long time, and they were good at singing and stuff. So that was a good show. That was in the theater, and we went in. I guess it was on deck 6, so we had seats that were not in the top, and it was really 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 nice. I'm glad we went. I also got to try the boat this time, and it was actually pretty cool. I do like roller coasters. I wanted it to go fast, so he put it a little faster. At least he said he did. I wouldn't have known. But it could have been longer, I think. But I mean, it's on the side of a cruise, so I can't be going that fast. So definitely that was something that I would do again because I enjoyed it. And it's only a $25 upcharge.
I think it's 15 per person.
15. Which is even better. And the wait wasn't that long. I think we even went on a C day.
Did we?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But either way, I wasn't getting on there.
Yeah. I got on there, and also the people we had a ball with that. The line wasn't long at all, so we got to go straight up. We checked in, and everything was good. So I thoroughly enjoyed both the roller coaster on the sea.
One thing that I will point out about boat, depending on where your room is located, you're going to hear boats because early in the morning they do like test runs to make sure that the roller coaster is running correctly. So they'll send it around the track several times, and where our room was located, we could hear it like rumbling in the morning. So just keep that in mind.
Which I think it was forward, right?
We were midship, but we could still hear it.
Yeah. That's something to think about.
All right. So, bonus tip, we're going to talk about the ports. So, we went to Grand Turk, Amber Cove,
Nassau.
And Nassau. So, we've been to Nassau a million times. There's not much to say about that.
Well, this time we actually went to the straw market.
Yes.
Which we had not been to since they changed the port. Yes. So that was something that was a little different. It was big. There was some characters in there. So
there were some characters in there. Listen, some of those people are really pushy, and One lady said some off the wall stuff. Like, as I was literally pulling my money out of my purse to pay her, she just said something really off color. And I was like, absolutely not. And I put my money back in my purse and I walked off.
Yeah, but the first lady was really nice and really
Yes, the
good.
first
So
lady, she's like, as soon as you
as soon as you
walk
walk
up, she's
in,
right there in the front. She was really good. She was nice,
which
you
I'll
know.
put her video in the thing
Mhm.
because she was really nice. She was really cool, and she had some great stuff. So we will definitely promote her. But some of those, it was some characters in there.
Yes.
Hmm.
So in Grand Turk, we did an island tour. So at first, we were going to rent a golf cart. So we didn't do it through the cruise because we had heard on like TikTok that you could get it cheaper if you went right outside the gate. So we go right outside the gate, and y'all, they try to rip us off so bad
So
because
bad.
every person that we talked to told us a different price. One person says $40, one person says $100. They're saying different stuff. They all work together, but they're like, oh no, don't listen to him. One person, they said, he told us $40. So we're like, oh yeah, we'll pay the $40. And the person comes up there like, he don't speak English. Don't talk to him. He just had a whole conversation with us in English. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So then we went back inside the gate to just rent it from one of the little kiosks that was inside the port. Y'all, they were running a scam basically because there was a police roadblock set up right outside the gate. So if you went through on a golf cart and the golf cart didn't have a tag on it or the tag was expired or whatever, they were turning you back around.
Yeah, that's how some of the golf carts are unlicensed. So that's a tip. If you are going to try to do that and go out there and get it for a little cheaper, we recommend just go through the ship or
Mm-hmm.
at least inside the port. What one of our problems was we tried to go out there, but by the time we got back in, they had sold all of theirs because other people were coming in, came in before us. But they'll give it to you really cheap, but it'll be without a tag on it, without a license plate. Well, you can't drive around on the island without a license plate. So this time they had a police roadblock, not even half a mile up. So as soon as you paid them the money, you drove, then you was gonna get turned around. Well, the people are like, "Oh, we'll show you a back roads." Well, we're not about to be driving down the back roads with y'all on an island that we don't know just to save some money. So it's just one of those things that if they are bargaining with you and if somebody says, "Hey, I can get it to you for really really cheap," it probably doesn't have a license plate, and then you risk being sent back if you come across a policeman without it. So that's just something to really think about when you're out there negotiating with them. I think we would have been fine, but so many people came out that they were trying to make as much money as possible. And you know how that goes.
Yeah. So we ended up there was a tour guide operator who was out there and he was like, "Hey, I can give you guys an island tour for this amount of money," which was about the same as the golf cart. And the van was air conditioned, so it just made it that much better because he drove us around the island. He gave us a history lesson. He took us to different places. We went to the lighthouse, then he took us to eat. So going through the tour guide, it was just so much better. And Marcus will put his information here because he was really good.
Yeah, my name is Gordon from Gordon's Taxi Services here in Grand Turk. It's nice to meet all of you. I'm touring with this beautiful family, Marcus, his family, and some other families. One of these days, y'all got to come on down, either on a cruise or maybe you can come on a flight down to Grand Turk and check it out. Spend a week or so, see the place, explore, or come on a cruise and just enjoy the day. I'll take you around. Don't worry about it, man. You'll have a great time. Trust me.
Yeah,
All
we're
right,
enjoying
thank you.
ourselves. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, you're welcome, my friend.
If we ever go back to Grand Turk again, we're just going to call him and have him take us around.
Yeah, because he took us to places we would have never even known to go,
Mm-hmm.
even if we were driving, because we've never been there. So it's like, oh, where did we go? And you're just driving around trying to figure stuff out. I think the tour is a lot better because, like I say,
Mm-hmm.
it was around the same price for everybody, and we was in air conditioning, and we had a guide to take us exactly where we want. Hey, we want need to stop by the store. Hey, we want this type of food. Didi wanted her what?
Oxtail.
And he took us to a place that had some great oxtail, some of the best we've had.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about that oxtail. It was so
It
good.
was so good. So I think that's a great tip there is sometimes You don't have to get a tour through the ship, but as soon as you go into the port, they have um, cruise tours. Well, not cruise tours, but tours for the island. Probably that'll be the best bet than going out and getting your own, dealing with trying to get the right price, making sure it's, a good card, and then driving around figuring it out because it was hot out there. So I'm actually excited that we learned that and was able to cash in on that tour, and we had fun. It was
Mm-hmm.
great.
It was a great tour. And then our third port was Amber Cove. We are not huge fans of Amber Cove, so we normally use that as a ship day and we just take in all the amenities of the ship. We sleep in. So that's what we did for Amber Cove.
And we do that because with a ship that big and especially on sea days, everything's packed and it may be something you want to try and do and you just don't have time. Use it on a port day that you've been to that port a couple of times. Make that a sea day for you where you're on there because everybody's gotten off at the port and you can have all the stuff to yourself and enjoy. So that's another tip.
All right, guys, that is our review of Carnival Mardi Gras. If you have been on Mardi Gras and you have any tips, leave them down in the comment section. If you have any questions about Mardi Gras, also leave those down in the comment section.
And if you found this review helpful, then you might want to check out our ship tour and also our Carnival Mardi Gras series.
And until next time, bye.